for the people who aren't here. Even though my hair is messed up. All right, hi everybody, welcome. Oh, and then Cindy's gonna leave as soon as I get started.
I'm turning off my dryer.
It's fine. I'm just messing with you. So welcome everybody. Let me start with thanks to everybody who's been working so far and getting stories in. We're trying to keep them going one per day so far, and we've been doing every weekday for like a week now or something, Cindy?
I think so, yeah.
Something like that. So we're doing pretty good. So keep them coming. I'm looking at all your stuff before it gets posted, so sometimes the delay is on me, but I am getting to it. I have too many classes also, so I'm just trying to get like the schedule down. But I think finally this week I got everything figured out. We are not gonna have, Cindy is very much on top of everything, so we're not gonna have too many meetings to discuss stories and stuff. Gosh damn it. Sorry, hold on.
Cheers to that.
The neighbor has a puppy and just insists on parading it up and down the street constantly. So the puppy's fine. The neighbor's really obnoxious though. And it's just making poor Max crazy. So our meetings, I don't intend for this to last very long. Our meetings aren't going to have to last very long. I'm going to have some lectures for you, but I'm just going to record them and post them on there. And there's not going to be too many, not going to be 3 hours a week or anything. Because a lot of what you're going to learn is you're going to learn by doing. But let me say a couple of quick things, just so that just a couple of things that I've noticed. If you don't have one of these, an AP style book, you really need to get one. This is our guidelines. This is our big rule book here, the Associated Press style book. I think the newest one covers 2020 and 2022. And then you have to read the whole thing. No, you don't have to read the whole thing. The whole point of getting one is so that you can double check things in there. We have a certain style guide that we have to follow. And you do that. The AP style is meant for clarity. It's meant to make it so that whenever you read a journalism story anywhere, it reads the same and you understand what things mean. You don't need to know AP style religiously, but you do need to at least have a book so you can check stuff. And, an easy trick is you can always Google AP style things, and chances are somebody has asked the question that you're wondering somewhere on Google. I do that too. And it's weird, kind of, it seems like almost trivial stuff, but the better you are at AP style, the easier it is for you to get a job at some point in the future. So try to write clean AP style. We all miss stuff. I miss stuff, so don't worry if it's not perfect. But my best advice is to go through the AP style book one time, is to read it from cover to cover one time. And it's not a real book. It's a bunch of entries. These entries, see, here's an example. Some of them are a little longer than others, but they're basically just telling us, will it focus if I do that? No. They're basically just telling us how to write certain things, like how you write the word pull out. If it's a noun, like a pull out couch, it's one verb. If it's pull out, like we're pulling out of Iraq, it's two words as a verb. Just little things like that. Punctuation, titles, that kind of stuff. Because, for instance, we don't use titles. We don't capitalize titles for almost anybody. Journalism doesn't care, has no chill about titles. We basically only capitalize really important stuff like president, general. We don't, the president. I think we are capitalizing chancellor, but that one might even be one that we don't have to capitalize. So get an AP style book, start paying attention to that and get more familiar with it. Always better the cleaner that your copy is, the better, especially because copy editors don't really exist anymore. Here they do, but in the real world, I see stuff with spelling errors all the time. And again, as students, you're going to be held to a higher standard. People, if they see you with sloppy work, they're not going to take you as seriously. Another thing that's important is the difference between opinion and news writing. And for some of you, you're pretty new to this, pretty new to writing in general, so I don't expect you to know this, but it's something you should get familiar with. Journalism is pretty much almost always what we call objective journalism, which means it doesn't pick sides. It tells factual, unbiased truth. So the easiest way to remember that is every line in your sentence, every line in your story has to be attributable to somebody or something. You have to have a source for it, either a person or a website or something. Now, normally it's people that we're speaking to, right? Interview sources. But what I will always say, if there's a sentence and I can't tell where you got it from, I'll just write says who. And that's what you should ask of every question, every sentence that you write. Says who? Where is this from? Who did I get it from? And if it's not clear as in the story where you got it from, well, you got to make it more clear where it's from. Now, certain things are facts and you don't have to source them, you know, like who our board members are. Those are facts. You don't have to say, according to the 4CD website, our board members are. No, they're just facts, right? Same thing like with who the president is. That's just a fact. So there are certain facts that you don't have to attribute, and it's not a term paper where you have everything has to be attributed in the story. But if it's not common knowledge, we need to figure out where it came from. You know, so-and-so said that this, that, and the other thing. Attribute it to somebody. Somebody has to have told you that as a reporter, because that's basically what we do. What we do is, as reporters, we're not allowed in the story to say what really happened. You know, like I could say, for instance, there were two chancellor candidates, and one of them, the union went after them hard and trashed their reputation, and he pulled out to save face. I can't say that on a news story. I can't write those 4 sentences. That's exactly what happened, and I know that's what happened. But as the reporter, we got to take ourselves out of it. We got to, you're like a prosecutor almost. You're building the case with other people's words and other people's actions, and you're just the one compiling the case. So that's an important thing to remember. Now, if you want to do your opinion, we have an opinion section. In the future, probably nobody's going to pay you. Well, we're not going to pay you for your opinion here either. Sorry. But you can do opinion stories here, and that will count as an article. You don't have to do news articles if you don't want to. You know, it's good to do a mix of both. But college is a place where you can do opinion articles, and that's the place where you could say, well, I think this, and as a society, we should do this. And the president is fascist, or, America treats Black lives like they don't matter. If you want to write that kind of stuff, you can, but that's in a different section of the paper in the old days. That's a different section of the website. That's opinion. So just be wary of that. And again, you can write either one of those, and there's a way to, when we talk to people and we build information, that's what reporting is. It's 2 different things. Journalism is writing and it's reporting. Reporting is the research and talking to people, and then writing is when you just put it all together. So keep that in mind. You can do research in an opinion paper. You can do an opinion piece, and some of the stories that I read this week were on the borderline, where it's like you have an opinion and you're backing it up with facts. That's totally fine. That is journalism, but it's opinion writing and not news writing. So just keep that in mind. And again, if you want to experiment with both, I encourage you to do so. We are not generally going to assign you opinion stories too much. There are certain opinions that should be written. Like Evelyn is writing about how the pandemic is affecting learning. That was almost an opinion piece. I cut a couple lines to make it more news, but it could have easily been opinion. And it could have been more about how we need to do more for those students, or Contra Costa County should be doing more. And again, you don't have to do that, but this is a good time to try to work on opinion if that's what you want to do. And I've written opinion since I was in college, so I'll teach you how to do it well. We will be brutal with your edits. That will be the only other thing I'll say for right now, so that we can get out of here quickly. Definitely be hard on yourself when it comes to edits. Rewrite every sentence. I can almost guarantee any sentence that you write could be rewritten better. And that's true for me too, okay? I write something and then I go watch a YouTube video or something, and then I come back and then I just start looking at every sentence and I'm like, is that the best way I can write it? Is it clear? Does it make sense? That is annoying and it's not fun. It's probably the least fun part of journalism, right? Aside from talking to people that suck to interview. Talking to athletes is pretty terrible. It's pretty bad as a journalist because they don't say anything interesting. Usually, you really got to bring it out of them. But city council meetings, another thing that's pretty terrible. Some people like city council meetings. Weirdo. My former boss Mary likes city council meetings, but you know she would watch them for fun after work. You can't pay me to do it, but basically, sorry, what did I even get on that topic for? What was I talking about?
AP style.
No, it was not AP style. I was past that already.
Opinion writing, maybe?
Opinion writing. Emma, do you remember? You're listening, right?
Things that you were saying, something like terrible things to write about, rewriting sentences that you have
Thank
to
you.
do.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. See, I knew Emma would know. Emma is a great reporter. Thank you, Emma. But yes, every sentence can be rewritten, and you really got to be as harsh with yourself as possible. Oh, I was saying that is probably the least fun part of journalism. There, I always come back to it eventually. That is probably the least fun part of journalism, and nobody likes it. Nobody likes editing other people's work that much. It's fine, but it's not like fun. It's not like Cindy tells me there's a story ready, and I'm like, yes, I can't wait to edit it. No, it's like, because I'm doing the same thing for you. I'm looking at every sentence and like, is this clear? Does this make sense? Are you getting your point across? It's not a fun thing to do. And I just want to acknowledge that right away, because normally, in my experience, it's the last thing young reporters and young writers want to do. I don't want to read my own shit again. It's like watching yourself after you turned in a video. You're like, I don't want to see that. I already did it. I'm moving on. But you gotta get past that. You gotta learn to be harsh with yourself, because that's when you really become a great writer, is when you can look at your own work and you're like, I could do better than that. I think that I can present that in a better way. So, you know, when I said compete against yourself at the beginning, that's what I mean. Always be hard on yourself, not like down on yourself, but always push yourself to write better and write more clearly. Because at the end of the day, if you write a good story, there's a very small chance that somebody's going to be like, that sentence that you wrote in the 4th paragraph, oh, that sentence was art, man, is beautiful. No, they're going to talk to you about the content of your article. And the best way to get your content across is to be as clear as possible and to make sure that you're telling the story the best way that you can. So just a couple of things to keep in mind in the beginning. The other thing, there's one more thing. The other thing I want to say is, don't be afraid of people. I know that it's awkward to talk to strangers, but journalism, if we tell other people's stories, we have to interview people. And I know that's weird with the pandemic, but you really got to get on the phone and you got to call people. And listen, I have felt awkward after almost every interview I've ever done in my life. I feel awkward after, well, not as much anymore because I do it so much, but I used to feel awkward after every class. Talking to someone you don't know that well, that is not a friend or a family member, is weird and it's awkward sometimes, but nobody is ever going to know that. When I read your story, I'm not going to think about your interview and if it was awkward or if you asked a stupid question. Nobody cares. What they care about is, did you get them to say something interesting? Did you get them to say something good? At the end of the day, that's all that matters. It's like cooking. Nobody's going to be in the kitchen with you. Nobody's going to see what it took to get the story together. Just put together something good. Put together something interesting. And just know that the people that you're talking to are more nervous than you are pretty much every time, because what you say is not going to be written in the paper on the website, but what they say is. So if they say something stupid, you know, or if they think it comes across stupid, they're going to be self-conscious about it. So, you know, interviewing is something that you just have to get better at. You just have to practice. I'll do a couple videos on it. I got lots to say about it. But I want to encourage you to be bold and not to be concerned about it, because it just gets easier. And honestly, like I said, most of the people you talk to are going to be more nervous than you are, because they're concerned that they're going to come across poorly, or they're going to sound stupid, or they're not going to, you know, everybody wants to give a great quote. Not everybody can. So just keep that in mind. Every story, for whatever reason, the general public likes to hear from sources more than they like to hear from us. If you as a reporter write an opinion column, most people aren't going to care. But if Joe Blow says it in the story, all of a sudden people care more. They like it more when it comes from other people. So yeah, I want to encourage you, talk to other people, put them in your stories, because that's what we do. That's what journalists do, is share other people's stories. All right, that was the last one. Now I'm finally done. Okay. Cindy, you got anything?
We do have an account for AP. I don't know if that's soon to expire or you have to add the new people, but we do have an account for the advocate,
Okay.
like an online.
Yeah, I wanted to say I actually logged into that yesterday or maybe the day before, and it expired, and I was all sad.
Oh, it already
But-
expired?
Yeah, so I don't know if Fernando has to do it again or do it for him. So yeah.
We probably just have to renew the subscription. So I'll talk to Paul DeBolt
Okay.
about that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and one thing that I noticed on some of the stories, especially the hard ones that we're doing, it's when somebody says something about other person, it's kind of a good thing or probably required to go to that person and talk to them. I don't know if I'm wrong on that side.
No, you're not wrong.
Okay, you have to give them the space to give you their side of the story. They probably will say that they don't want to comment on it, but at least you already asked and they already have their own space, and if they decide not to comment, then you're not being biased.
And that's something to keep in mind with like controversial stories and big stories. That was something that we did with the Vicky Gordon story. We had all the facts. She's dead to rights in that story. She's got no defense. And even in her letter, she can't defend half the things that they said she did. But we still have to, it's like this. If somebody says some bad shit about somebody, you have to give them a chance to respond. That's the simplest way to put it. And so since we had all this bad evidence against her, we just have to give her the chance to say, what do you have to say for yourself? And she said, I don't want to say anything. Let the letter speak for itself. That's pretty typical. But the other side of that is if we don't talk to her, then she can complain and she could say, well, you never asked me. Blah, blah, blah. And we can't say, well, you wouldn't have said shit anyways. Well, now it's too late. So, yeah, we always have to give people the chance to defend themselves, basically.
Yeah, I made that mistake on one of the Vanderwood stories, and I got a lot of bad comments about it. So you probably don't want to be in that position. When somebody says something bad about Helen Benjamin, and I didn't even went back and ask again. I just put the quote on the story, and a lot of people had something to say about that.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Anybody else have anything? No? All right. Well, it's late, so I don't want to keep you guys, and I want to go eat some. I want to go watch the end of the football games. Is it still on? Is it over? It's still on, right? And the basketball game too. I got to go 2 screens. So listen, the last thing that I want to say is I am totally available every weekday. I'm getting better at the emails. It's taking me a couple of days, but I told you I'm getting back in full steam. It's been a while since I taught this many classes. So I'm just out of practice. I'm getting my wind back. If you want help with the story, listen, journalists get stuck. And the thing that we do can be hard sometimes. So if you don't know who to talk to, if you have any question, feel free to email me about your story. Feel free to ask me a question. If you're stuck on like, how do I tell this story? If you don't even know where to begin, that's what I'm here for. That's the advisor part of it. I'm here for you. Don't be afraid to reach out for any question because that's part of why I'm old or whatever, why I'm the teacher, is that I have seen so many of these situations. I can probably help you figure out the angle. But yeah, everything that I've seen so far is pretty good. You guys, you know what you're doing. So far, we just got to fine tune it a little bit. And that's what you're here for. You're here to practice. You're here to get better. And, I want you to feel like you are free to be creative here with your work. So make sure that you know that. And just make sure you stay in touch with Cindy so that we know where you are and that you're working on something. But it seems like everybody's working on something. Yeah?
Yep.
All right. Like I said, we don't have to meet that much. I'm going to more try to post videos to show some people some stuff and go over some journalism things. But if you want to have a one-on-one, we can totally do that anytime. And like I said, email me. We can go back and forth with email. You could send me drafts of your story if you want or if you don't want. But I just want you to know that even if, the Advocate is more about keeping the paper, the news site running. And so we don't do as much class stuff, but that doesn't mean that I'm not here and that I can't help you. And if you want to learn, there's plenty, but the Advocate is more like news first and then, working on stuff later. So, all right, that's it. That's all I got. Cindy?
Yeah, we need a sports story. We haven't talked about sports in so long. We need a story. There's things going on. There's the gym, there are recruits, there's so many things going around, and we haven't talked about any of that. So we need a story ASAP.
All right, so if you're interested in sports, speak up. We do need sports. But all right, we might have to send an email, or we might have to assign somebody.
Yeah, we need something, whatever. We
All
need
right.
to say.
Well, you and I will talk, and we'll see who needs an assignment. We're gonna assign somebody a sports story.
And we have a new member today, AVL, or how do you say your name?
Hi, Aviel.
Oh, AVL. Welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Aviel, please get in touch with Cindy.
Okay.
And can you send him your email in the chat, please?
Yes, I'm
And
sending
Cindy
my email.
will get you a story, get you started on a story. And Aviel, there's a couple of videos on YouTube for the Advocate. I don't know if you've seen those, but I believe I posted them on the Canvas. So make sure to check those out. But other than that, I'm done. Sorry that I was late. I forgot that I said 7:15. I thought it was 7, and I stayed till 7:07. I was like, well, fuck it. I'm going to go do something else. So that's my bad. So thank you, Emma, for texting me. Yeah, you guys have my phone number. That wasn't an accident. You could text me. If you need me immediately, text me. That's okay. The Advocate staff members can have my phone number. So just don't text me with no BS. But if you need something, let me know. So that was good, Emma. Thank you for getting my attention. Oh man, if not for Emma and Cindy, I don't know what I'd be doing. You guys are keeping this place running, man, not me. So I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you, but especially Cindy and Emma.
And we're having Kahoot tomorrow.
A Kahoot?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Oh, your 6 o'clock meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll stop by. Yeah, I think it should be fine.
Cool.
But that's more to catch up with everybody, right? So.
Yeah, that'll be an AP
Okay.
style Kahoot.
Yeah, AP style. We'll be drilling. We'll be doing AP style drills. Yeah, right. No way. Not on a Friday. All right. Well,
Why
then I'm gonna
not?
wrap it up.